Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. It's the Christmas Eve episode of Friday Night Lights, week 16, with my friends Willie Walls and the great Swami Odell Blocker. It's a little chilly outside there, Willie Walls, don't you think?
Yeah, 10 degrees. I mean, you know, I know I like to move. I could deal with 10 degrees of separation. But not 10 degrees. 10 degrees is cold outside. So, yes. And it's going down lower. And this is I ain't talking about the wind chill. Wind chill is like the winds are blowing about 30 or 40 miles an hour. So the wind chill is about minus 15. So this is Chicago, Green Bay, Wisconsin type weather. There's different cold that everything gets cold, you know, when you go outside, you know. So
But Swami, you look warm there. You look like you're sitting in your house and you're warm.
It is, Doc, because I'm in the jungle. I'm not in the house. I'm in the middle of DFS. It is warfare, Doc. It's horseshoes and hand grenades. Man up, Willie. We got lineups. Let's go.
All right, let's kick it off.
Yeah, because you're in Atlanta. Yeah, right. 40 degrees.
Willie
Get on out of here.
All right, let's talk today. Let's talk, Willie. Do you think we can go with cheap quarterbacks on this slate and win?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's where I'm going.
Who are your favorites?
Well, you just mentioned one. You could call him Minshew or Ashew, depending on what day it's going to be. But I think he's very formidable. He's got the weapons. And I like Geno. Geno's one of my favorite quarterbacks, and I'm gonna have to get a little, like you said, I got to get a little Mr. Daniel Jones of the Giants. But those are my three favorite quarterbacks of the slate, especially Geno and Minshew.
Swami, you agree or disagree with Willie? You going up? You paying up for the Mahomeses of the world, who should have a really, really good matchup? Josh Allen against the putrid Bears, or do you pay down?
I'm not mad at what Willie's thinking this week. I think we might be thinking slightly different, guys. There's a lot of risk around, you know, Minshew. Again, he doesn't have a great matchup, but he has a great price. But it's guys who have better matchups who might be just as affordable. Some of those names are like Mr. Donald, right? We haven't talked about him. How about Mr. Mills? So there's some guys who have some pieces that we've liked over the last couple of weeks, and I think they may be in play. I think taking a chance on Mr. Asher might just be a little bit too much.
I tell you what,
Davis Mills. Did he say Davis Mills?
I'd rather play Stephanie Mills, who used to be an R&B singer.
On the Wiz. She was in the Wiz.
Over Mr. Mills.
I said if we played their pieces, we played DJ Moore, we played Chris Moore, right? We were interested in Akins at one point. Now, if Cook is back in the lineup this week, we talked about some of their pieces. If you're talking about taking a chance on somebody, how about somebody who's been in there throwing the ball around the last few weeks? Not somebody you haven't seen play since.
I'd rather play pieces of a dream.
I'm talking about
that Cook.
Talking about Sam Darnold against your beloved Detroit Lions, and I'm talking about Mills in a divisional matchup against Tennessee.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
More than that slugfest in Dallas.
Just like I told you last week. Detroit's defense is playing better. Do not discount their defense.
And that didn't stop Wilson.
I think that rascal.
And
he would not be in one lineup. That
DJ Moore is in play, Willie, because Lions are bad against slot receivers.
He's in play, but I'm just telling you, Detroit's defense is playing a lot better.
Wilson went 5X, so I don't know what you're talking about. You had to tell me your point. Wilson went 5X. Help me out.
What Wilson? Who are you talking about?
That means he did his job. The Wilson you talked about last week in Detroit, you said, don't. Detroit's playing better. Wilson went 5X.
They did. And who went off?
Wilson. He went 5X. He did his job.
What did he get?
He went 5X.
Who you talking, Wilson?
Yes.
What Wilson?
Garrett Wilson.
What he had, 150 yards? Man, come on, man. Get on out of here.
No, he had a
I'm
decent
just
game.
saying, Detroit's defense played better overall.
Doc.
Nobody for the Jets went off.
Excuse me, Doc. What we're looking for here, if we're talking about paying down at quarterback, we're looking for what Wilson gave us last week.
Oh, you talking about Wilson? I know what you're talking about.
The question is this with the Panthers. Let's just use Darnold, for example. Do you think you get this guy throwing at 300 yards? Not even close.
Doc, here, when we start talking affordable, I don't use the word cheap, but when we start talking about best value quarterbacks, you can't use that same metric. This is a total different measuring stick for these jokers. We need them to finish the game and be somewhere around 20 points.
But how is Minshew not the best start considering the price and considering that he runs as well? I mean, how do we overlook that?
His matchup, and he hasn't played all year. That's the only things against him.
And
divisional matchup.
And listen, that Dallas defense is not the same defense that you saw a few weeks back. They've been having some injuries, and they're nosy. They're very nosy. They've been getting beat a lot. That Diggs is a very nosy corner. And I'm just telling you. I'm telling you right now, the thing that I like about them is now I'm gonna tell you who we might look at this week that we didn't look at last week, who's not going to be taking the carries. We might look at a Sanders this week. I'm not saying he's not a guy, but it's somebody I'm thinking about because, think about it. The quarterback's not going to be taking all the touches. I'm just saying.
I just
Philadelphia got Goddard coming back. They got Goddard coming back. They got a lot of weapons. They got a lot of weapons.
Same Cowboys team that have won 4 of those last 5. They held that Minnesota team to 3 points. Jacksonville, who has a lot of weapons, just had one of those games last week. Nobody else has really done anything. Houston played out of their minds for
the last 2 games. But so what you're not looking at is Dallas has had injuries. The last couple of games, they've been besieged with injuries.
Dallas,
and I'm telling you,
ball
Philadelphia is a top of the line offense, and they got weapons. I don't think they're going to be stopping like
Hurts,
that.
They are regular offense. Period.
I agree with that. I think without Hurts, and here's the problem with Sanders, Willie. Let's say Dallas is winning 20. Let's just say they're winning 24-10 at halftime. Are they still going to run in the second half?
No. I'm just I'm
saying game flow could hurt Sanders.
No. I know he's not a lock.
Sure.
First of all, he's not a lock. Is there somebody that just came to my head that I think that it wouldn't be surprised if he does something? Because what I'm saying is,
you say
run
can
against
your
Dallas
head or
too.
hit you in the head. I just want to
run against Dallas too. I'm just telling you that Dallas defense, the Houston game and consecutive games, the Houston game and that Jacksonville game is very telling.
All right, let me ask this question. Are you going to, if let's say you play Minshew, let's just argue that we're going to play Minshew. Do you put him with A.J. Brown? Do you put him with Dallas Goedert? Or do you just run him naked, Swami?
No, I'm playing him with Quez.
What's that? All right, go, Willie, you go.
I'm playing with Quez Watkins.
I recuse myself from ass you. You go, Willie.
I'm playing him with Quez Watkins.
Hey, Doc.
You have a match, Swami, so I can light my money on fire.
Off of this one. Are you?
Y'all said the same thing last week.
No, I did not laugh at you as Shaheed. I did not laugh at you. You know that. I like him.
I just think Quez Watkins. I think Quez Watkins is a man of interest this week. I think the routes that he run is where Dallas gets nosy. I'm telling you, they're gonna get nosy. And when you see Quez Watkins going down deep and getting one deep, all it takes is one deep ball.
Oh my God. Minshew and Quez Watkins is going to anchor his lineups.
All right, Swami, let me go to you. Give me the guy that you must have in your lineup this week. You're setting your lineup. Who is the one guy you're working around?
I don't think I'm saying anything outrageous. I ain't saying anything nuanced. Nobody's about to be blown away here. King Henry last 4 against the beloved Texans. You talk about owning a team. He is averaging 40. You got it. Not 20, not 30, not 35, but 40 fantasy points in the last 4. And even though Willie tends to think that teams are playing better, we got it. At some point, they start to, have to start looking at next year, have to start looking at contracts. They try to play. They put something on tape. Got it.
First of all, nobody said nothing about King Henry. I'm giving you something that I'm looking at this week. So I'm giving you some stuff you digging. You give us something.
Well, I asked him for a core guy. Who's your core guy, Willie?
Henry and McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah, no, I think Willie's. I mean, look, how do you not play McCaffrey? How do you not play him?
Well, I mean, if the question is how do you not? I love the play, so let's get that straight. But I'm arguing against the play because you said how do we not? How do we not? Because if we think that McKinnon, who seems like he's become maybe as big a part of this offense as Kelsey the last couple of weeks, that he could be in play. How you said how could we?
But you could play all 3.
But Doc, I'm just answering Doc's question. Doc, you said how could we not? Because DK Dobbins is now in the mix, and he's the price of a cup of coffee. He's going against Atlanta, and they're awful. They are absolutely awful against the run. Another how could we not? If you're interested in Dalvin Cook, he had a first game that he's had in a few weeks.
I am interested in Dalvin Cook. I am 100%.
He's going to be very interesting. So it's some reasons that I could present that could give you.
Let me ask this question. Let's assume, guys, I like Dalvin Cook a lot, which I do. Giants are not good against number 1 running backs, and Swami could admit that. Can I still play Daniel Jones and some of the cheaper Giants receivers, or do I have to move away from that if I think Dalvin Cook's going to have a good game, Willie?
I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, I like Daniel Jones. I'm looking more at naked Daniel Jones. I'm just for some reason I just think that's where the trap is in terms of the receivers. If I see that the line builders are showing those guys, but just like I said remember I said last week. Remember I had that feeling about Herbert. What I said about Herbert with San Diego, how I felt that he will underperform. That's what I'm got to see. I think on this slate, because of the weather circumstances, because of it's not being a lot of value on this slate, I don't think that I'm not bringing a run back. I don't think you necessarily got to have a run back. I don't think it's that type of slate. I mean, if you like a play, I'm just going to play him and I'm moving on.
Sir, it is no weather situation in Minnesota. And that's
no.
That's what
I'm talking about the overall slate. It's a big
give him a play in that game.
I know in that game, I'm not going with the Giant receivers. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Wow. Okay.
So you think they're a trap?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't think the Giants scored 24 points?
Jane. I don't know.
I do. Jane. I like him.
I think it could come from what we're not looking at. It could come from Barkley. He'd be a leverage play going against Minnesota.
I'm not mad at Barkley, Doc, but I think it's plays in this game. I disagree that there's no plays. I think it's
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I think they're a trap. If the only one I will go to is the 2 cheaper ones. I will not play Slayton.
I agree. I'm not playing Slayton. Let me ask you this about weather. And I don't usually overrate weather, but it's going to be cold. I mean, really cold. And Swami, you said something about the indoor. The Viking game is indoors. Isn't that mean we don't have to worry about wind? We don't have to worry about all the elements. How is that not a game that we need to be picking on?
Right. When the rest of them are absolutely goofy, Willie, how you just going to avoid the games where we got decent
I'm not. I didn't. First of all, I didn't say avoid the game. All I said is I'm not locking all that. You got a Dallas game that's inside. You got a couple of games that I like that's outside even better than that game. I like the Seattle, Kansas City game. It's cold, but it's no wind. Okay, but I'm not going to touch that situation that's going on in Cleveland when you have 40 or 50 mile an hour winds and it's freezing. No way, no how. I'm not touching that situation. But I'm talking about you got some other plays that's the highest. If you're looking at the highest points on the board, it's not the Minnesota game. The game is Kansas City.
It's up there though.
Yeah, the Giant game is 48, and the Chiefs and Seahawks are about 50.
And that's where everybody's going to. And that's my whole point.
Which, the Giant game?
Yes. That's where most of the stuff is coming from. And that's
can I give you a
like
very under the radar one here? A lot of low scoring games. The Eagles and Cowboys are 46.5.
Yeah, I mean that game is interesting. I mean, that game is interesting to me, but I just think that everybody is discount. Like I said, I think Minshew is just a better quarterback than what people are getting, and he proved it the last time he played. He's not one of those quarterbacks that sucks. He's a legitimate quarterback, and I just think that going against Dallas, a lot of people are not going to want to play that. But I like Minshew a lot. I like him a lot in this game.
So
let's price point.
Swami, let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith is only $5,800. Tyler Lockett is out. Kenneth Walker is back. You do have a concentrated group of guys. I mean, how is DK Metcalf not on your team? I mean, he should be a lock for lineups.
I like DK a lot. What they're giving up to wide receiver one, they don't have Lockett, and Lockett's getting quite a few targets, double-digit targets. They have to go somewhere. We're not really sure how much Walker's going to play and how well he's going to play if he's able to go. So I think that it means that DK should see double-digit targets, and at that price, in a game that you think that they're going to be behind pretty much most of the game, I think I like DK a lot. He's somebody I could lock in for sure. And even though I know everybody wants to pay up at running back this week, rightfully so, I think you're going to have to look at, maybe getting some of those guys right around that medium price range, and that's where DK is.
So, Willie, let's say you like that game, which it seems like you do. Where are you going with it? You playing Juju? You playing Kelsey? You playing McKinnon? You playing DK?
I like McKinnon, and I like bringing it back with Noah Fant, and I like that. What is his name? Goodwin. What's the name?
Goodwin. I like Goodwin.
Yeah,
I love Goodwin. I mean, I think that they're going to pay more attention to Metcalf, and Goodwin has athleticism, and I just think that he's a guy that, for me, that I want to put my coattails on. Metcalf is a great play, and I will have a little exposure to it, but I'm going to have more exposure to Goodwin.
Goodwin, though, he's on track to play, right? He's questionable, but he's on track to play. Kenneth Walker is questionable to play here. And then Noah Fant, by the way, he's likely to play. He's got a knee injury. Would you play Will Dissly?
If Fant was out, Disley would be a lock.
Okay. Are you bringing it back with no Juju, no Kelsey?
No. Juju is fine. I mean, I'm more interested in McKinnon. If I had to play anybody, my favorite play for them would be McKinnon.
All right, Swami. What about what? All right, you mentioned King Henry. Is there another guy that you say to yourself? Maybe it's at wide receiver. Maybe it's a tight end. Who else is a guy that you need to have in your core?
I also wanted to mention there was one other person just before we go from that Seattle game, that other wide receiver, Young. He's going to be expected to step up this week because of injuries. And he was a speedster. I can't remember where he was out of. It was one of those small schools. And so
Seattle?
Yeah, for Seattle. Young is his
Derek Young?
Yeah, Derek Young. And he's somebody, if a couple people can't go in that game, he's somebody will be minimum price.
Well, so if Goodwin is out, Then Treadwell, Laquan Treadwell is in.
I think Treadwell, Young, one of those guys will become in play. And I think Young, I like him only because he is a speedster. He was something they drafted him, even though he was a late round pick. He was one of those guys who was considered a speedster. I do remember that. So he's just somebody who I think would become a man of interest if Marquise is out.
Okay. All
right, Doc. So what game we going to?
I said to you, what wide receiver? We talked about Metcalf. You mentioned DJ Moore. Lions bad against the slot receivers. Is there a receiver with Henry that you're going to build around in your lineups?
I know Jefferson's really expensive, but I feel like the Giants really struggle against that, and they're going to have their hands full because the Giants are vulnerable probably across that entire front at this point because I think Thielen could be in a good spot, Hockenson could be in a good spot, Cook could be in a good spot. So, but if I had to come off of that, because I agree with Willie, I think I would rather have the 25 touches and maybe somebody like McCaffrey getting it all and then playing another back in the flex. Come down off of him, and I would look at maybe Thielen. I kind of went to Osborne. I had him the last couple of weeks, so I think I would go away from him this week, right? Something tells me I've kind of, and I felt that way a little bit about McKinnon, but because Seattle's so bad, I just said, nope, I'll go down with the ship because Seattle is awful, and they're giving up a lot to the running back. So then it brought me down to a couple of people who I like that we already talked about. One of them was Moore, and then the other one was Cook, and I'm talking about Cook for Houston now. Willie,
Brandon Cooks.
Willie, don't make that.
I'm just saying, man. It's just not Cook's year. That's all.
But if he's playing and he's practicing, right, and he's in that offense, remember him and Mills play together. They got a little something to prove at the end of this year too, right? He's another guy who, after this stinker he put up, and this happens all the time, Doc, where we see it, where a guy has a stinker of a year, and for some reason, last 2-3 games, he's back out there looking like an all-star, so he can walk into the building next year and not be at risk in the same way that he might be.
Look, here's the argument. The argument is that the Titans are really good stopping the run. They don't play the pass well. If the Texans are ever going to do anything, Brandon Cooks is a really good matchup because the Titans have slow cornerbacks. That said, how much is Brandon Cooks? How much is he?
Let me see what we got on.
He is 4,900, so let's call it 5,000. Are you getting 20 points from him? Feels like a reach.
I don't. How can I say this? I don't feel that way because he hasn't played. Same thing I would say about Minshew. But we've seen Cooks play well before, and he's got a better matchup than Minshew.
Willie?
Same price. Remember, they're the same price. That's why I'm making a comparison, even though it's a different position.
Let him have it, Willie.
Listen. Hey, what's in that thing, man? Do you got some Hennessy in there or something? Well, what do you got in there, man? Because I think you sipping on something, man. I mean, God dog, man. What the hell you gonna mention this Cook and he can't? First of all, this rascal can't stay healthy. Number two is they don't want him. Okay, they don't want the guy. He don't get enough snaps when he does play. I mean, listen, there's so many things that go against this guy. There's no way, no how I would have that.
But they had other injuries. That's all I'm saying. Pierce went down with an injury.
I understand.
Other receivers got nicked up and banged up. Somebody's got to play if he's healthy.
I understand, but they got other young people that are playing over this guy. They don't even want the guy on the team. I mean, if they could do it, I mean, that's the only reason why he's playing. But you just look at his snap count.
Willie, let me ask you about strategy. Are you playing 3 expensive running backs or 2?
No. One of them is going to be like somebody like McKinnon, another guy that I have of interest in, the Detroit running back who sometimes but he's more healthy this week.
Swift or Jamal Williams?
Swift. I'm not playing Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams has no talent. I'm talking about guys that can get 20 or 25 points. And that's not, and I ain't talking about somebody that keep getting fortunate and getting at the goal line and getting those touchdowns. Because you notice that well has kind of dried up lately. The last 2 games, that well has dried up. When he don't get touchdowns, you see what happens. So I just think that you got some guy, and then one time I might switch it around and play the other Kansas City running back, because sometimes he's got to get his. It's going to happen. Everybody's going to be on McKinnon, then it's going to go the other way. You know what I mean? So he's got the same matchup, but he might get one where he takes one to the house for 80 yards on the first play of the game. Then all of a sudden it might be his game. You know what I mean? So
Doc, I'll give you a couple more since Willie ain't like that. What about say Aguilar or somebody in the New England game?
Here's why you can't touch that. I'm going to tell you why. Last week was Aguilar's week against the Raiders, who you can go on top. Bill Belichick was so frustrated with Mac Jones. I can see him pulling him at halftime. He hates Mac Jones. Hates him. That may be my favorite prop bet of the weekend, is under on Mac Jones's passing yards, because he's going to get pulled at halftime.
Well, okay, what about somebody like Zacchaeus against the Ravens?
Do you like lighting money on fire?
I'm talking about some of these guys, some of these teams where they're going to have to throw the ball, or I expect them to.
Desmond Ritter can't throw for 100 yards.
The guy I'm interested in at that price is like Noah Brown. Noah Brown has been a third. I'm very interested. Like in one of them where I played McCaffrey, I played McKinnon, I played that, and I brought it back with Noah Brown and Quez Watkins.
And there's going to be somebody on that Detroit sideline. I don't know who it's going to be. Chalk, Raymond, a Chenault. But some of these games are going to have somebody emerge.
But look at Noah Brown's snap. Look at his snaps and look at the way he's been playing. I mean, he's a very interesting guy at that price point. His price is not moving.
And maybe Pickens, Doc. Again, they got to, Pickens might be able to deal.
Pickens.
Noah Brown has gotten a lot of snaps, but can I tell you who I like more for Dallas, Willie? I like Dalton Schultz. He's been very overlooked the last couple of weeks, and people aren't thinking about him.
Wait, I don't even think. Wait a minute, Pickens.
Do you like Dallas Goedert, Willie?
Yeah, Pickens. No.
Yeah,
let me help him out. And Pickens not on the slate either, so no.
Isn't Pickens playing on Christmas Day?
I think they got the 8:00 game. So I'm talking Pickens for the Steelers.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not on the slate. Yeah, I thought he was on the slate too.
But Goddard, again, just coming back, new quarterback. It's just tough.
He played with him last year.
No, I mean, new quarterback to this season. Not new to the team, but new to the.
It's his first game he's playing this year.
Yeah, first game he's starting.
Yeah.
We don't know who his favorite target
Willie,
is.
what about your boy Daniel Bellinger?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
No.
Oh, no.
He's got
he don't get enough snaps.
Total yards in 3 games. No.
I mean, he don't even.
Well, look, what I'm trying to do, guys, is to come up with, if we're going cheap quarterback and we got 2 expensive running backs, we got to get cheap elsewhere to help people out.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually agree with Swame on this one. I think, because I have a lineup where, and I like it. I actually think that, I know what you said about Matt Jones. I hear you, but I think, because of the targets, I think Aguilar is a very interesting guy. And if you're trying to get Jefferson, McKinnon, and you're trying to get those big boys in, because I got one where I have McKinnon, Jefferson, I have McCaffrey, and I have Henry. And I told you I'm running that quest, and I think that Aguilar, I know what you're saying, and that's would be the type of guy that I think he could get a deep. I mean, Daniel Jones has been stinking, and I agree. He looks awful.
Why not just pay a little more and get Jacoby Myers, who actually knows how to catch a football?
I'm not mad at Myers.
I'm just saying Myers knows how to catch. Nelson Aguilar cannot catch. He dropped how many last week?
I watched them drop at least 3 myself.
I know.
Yeah.
He just can't catch.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you this, Willie, because you're very good at this. Who is your defense of the week?
Oh, I'm saying that me and Swami staying in the $2,700 to $2,200 range. We like New England. We like Dallas. I even like Dallas when I play Miss You. Just give me one of those pick sixes, then have Miss You got to catch up. I'm looking at all that. I like Dallas. I like Philadelphia. I like New England. But I definitely, and who is it? One other that's pretty decent. I even would take a chance. I'm not gonna take a chance in Chicago. I ain't doing that. But
how about would you play Kansas City?
New Orleans.
New Orleans at 2,800.
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch Kansas City. No.
What about Philadelphia against Dak Prescott, who has been?
Yes, 22. That's what I'm saying. Philadelphia, Dallas. I like both defenses at 2,200. Listen.
What about the Texans against Malik Willis, who stinks, where he doesn't throw enough?
Viable, but I just
how much is the Texans?
But wait a minute. But that's only in the game in that lineup. I wouldn't be playing King Henry, but yes, that if you're not playing Henry in that lineup, I would be interested in.
Listen, as bad as Malik Willis is, I think
he's
King Henry. You could play King Henry too in that lineup, and you just have that bastard throw a pick six. That's it.
But I'm worried that Malik Willis doesn't even throw the football. Literally, he
only threw it. He only threw the ball 10 times. We've seen this game, and that's what I was trying to tell you. I already seen this game. I saw it before. They said, "Oh hell no, it's 3rd and 10," and they ran the ball 4 times on 3rd and 10. They said, "You ain't messing this up."
I want to throw out a couple quarterbacks we didn't talk about, Doc, real quick, because Walls didn't mention his guy Purdy against his beloved Commanders this week. He didn't talk about him. We did, and I know y'all didn't like, those other guys. But what about McSorley? What about
McSorley's not on this slate?
Oh, he's off. Okay,
he's on Sunday. He's on Sunday.
That's Sunday. What about your guy Carr? Oh no, they're off the slate. Okay. Yeah. What about your Ravens, Huntley? What about your?
I liked your guy Sam Darnold a little bit and Minshew. I mean, but Sam Darnold, they're going to score 2 touchdowns.
I'm just doing my Walls. What about Jared Goff this week? What about?
That's interesting, Willie. Jared Goff is playing a whole lot better, and their total is not too low.
Doing some what ifs. What about your guy?
But let me ask you this, Swami. Don't you think you need to have a mobile quarterback in today's DFS?
Well, so many guys are mobile, right? To me, you could consider Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Mobile. But I also think Patrick Mahomes is mobile.
Agreed. But that's what I'm saying. Jared Goff is not mobile.
Right. Yeah.
You're not. Sam Darnold is not the. Well, Sam Darnold does get some touchdowns, but you're not getting extra points.
No, he's not going to give you more than a scramble or 2.
He's a statue.
Yeah, he's a statue.
Right. And he's a dumb statue. But I'm talking about Darnold.
Because of price and matchup, I just think if that statue, if he gets more than 3 touchdowns, he becomes somebody who can do something special. And it's possible this matchup. It's possible.
I just don't see on the road, they don't put the gas on like they do at home.
Who?
And I think I think with I'm gonna be honest with you, playing the Panthers, they all they're gonna try to do is control that clock.
Right, they're gonna run it. They're gonna run it.
And win the game because their defense. There's no shootout potential in this game.
Let me give you the craziest play in the world, and just tell me if I'm nuts. Taysom Hill, because they're going to run the ball in 60-mile-an-hour winds. he is going to be the quarterback and he's going to run. And you know he can run at 4,800.
No.
Nuts.
No.
Okay. I'm just throwing it out.
Because I respect
nuts.
Cleveland's defense more than that. No.
Walnuts. Chestnuts.
They're roasted on an open fire.
Mixed nuts. Sorry, no.
Okay.
No.
Would you play Taysom Hill if he was a tight end?
I wouldn't play him
like in FanDuel. What?
He's not enough volume, Doc. It's too many guys out there who's.
What if he's running the football? What if he's the starting quarterback? You wouldn't play him a tight end?
But he's not going to be starting quarterback.
If we knew he was starting for sure, yes. If you're just guessing that he's going to start, I don't like the guess. No.
Okay, so you don't like the guess. All right.
But Hubbard and the Carolina Panthers will not be able to run over your Lions.
I agree with that.
He what?
They will not be able to just run over the line. Lions are playing.
Swami's not wrong, Willie.
Who's the one's been touting the Lions defense? Me.
Yeah, I'm talking about this versus this.
Yeah, but me.
Okay, but Swami, let's say you're right, and let's say Darnold has a good week. What is a good week for Sam Darnold?
25.
200 yards, 2 touchdowns at the most.
That's the problem. A good week for him is 240 and 2 touchdowns. That is, with my math, 20 points. That's not good enough to win anything.
No. Wall said that. See, good week versus what's a ceiling game for him. I think
that is a ceiling game for him.
That's a silly game for Darnold.
I think he can get 3 touchdowns.
So you're saying a ceiling game for Sam Darnold is, I disagree. I'm going to say it's 22 points. 22 points. You're still not winning. Because not only that, you have to have that with the guy he throws 2 touchdowns to. And even then, you're not winning.
Yeah, you might be right.
I want to win. I don't want to cash.
I'd take him over Minshew still, but I think you're right. And it's because of matchups.
First of all, what is his price?
He's 51.
But see, this is the thing. I like Philly's weapons. Now, let me compare Philly's weapons compared to the Panthers' weapons. There's no comparison. Every position, they're better.
Is that the
lines?
So let me get this straight, Doc. In Arizona, I don't think it mattered. Baltimore, I don't think it mattered. We go across the league. When you took a guy like that out of the offense, the weapons didn't matter because you had that stinker under center.
Gardner Minshew is one of the better backups in the league. He is. He's one of the better backups. He played with the team last year. He's mobile. He should get about 20 to 30 yards rushing. Look, here's my 240 yards passing, 1 passing touchdown, 30 yards rushing. That's 19 fantasy points.
That's the same thing as Donald, except
but what he's saying is he's most like I see him. I think if they're trailing, which is great for me, I think he's getting at least 2 touchdowns. I think he's throwing for at least 260 yards, and then he could run for 30. One thing he does do is he does not stay in that pocket. He's going to give you at least 30 yards rush.
But that's the same game you just put Sam Darnold on the same.
No.
So he's saying 260 with 2, right? Which is about 13, and then so let's call it 21, and then 30 yards, so 24. He's saying Gardner Minshew is going to get a 24.
And then you put Sam Darnold on the same 250 with 2 and said it wasn't enough.
No. Sam Darnold does not run.
A total difference of 2 points.
Look, I think you guys are making a mistake. I think the play is Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones rushes for 60 yards. I think he could have a rushing touchdown. He could throw for 200 and a touchdown. And if he gets 2, you're in business.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if Minshew throw over 300 yards. I'm not surprised.
Oh my gosh, I take Daniel Jones. Give me Daniel Jones.
I'm just saying. I wouldn't be surprised. What I'm saying is the thing that you got.
I would be totally surprised.
What weapons?
I'm texting you and Doc repeatedly. I'd be so doggone surprised.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I just think. And see, the great thing about it is, and that's why I want to be on Minshew early, because next week people will want to be on him.
Right.
And I want to.
That'll be a week early than a week late.
Right.
Doc, it's more than our bleeding hearts want to. It goes like this. Matchup, then can you do it? You can't skip this matchup thing.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make to you is I'm looking at the eye test. The last 2 games, Dallas defense has been cheeks. Okay? Houston, they were cheeks. They should have lost that game. Houston should have had that touchdown and they should have won that game. Their offense, Philadelphia's defense is better. I'm telling you that Philadelphia now is going to make them work. Their defense is good. I'm telling you, their defense is good. Huh?
Agreed. And
I think that Dak. I think Dak's going to give up.
Willie, the Vegas has Minshew at around 230, somewhere between 230 and 235. That's what they have him at. They have Daniel Jones somewhere between 225 and 230.
Where Vegas got Donald?
Who?
Donald.
Your boy, Sam Darnold. Ooh, 195 to 200.
Because
Vegas is not usually off by a lot. They're off by a little, not a lot. So I'm saying Minshew and Daniel Jones are similar, except Daniel Jones, you probably are getting double the rushing yards. But Minshew, you may get the second touchdown.
Yeah, and that would be huge. I just think his weapons. How many points are they pegging Philadelphia to score?
21.
I mean that's more than. And what are they pegging the Panthers to score?
Panthers 0. No, 20 and a half. 20 and a half.
What are they pegging the Giants? 24?
22.
22.
So they're all similar.
Yeah, they're all similar. But what I'm saying,
the best matchup is the Giants because the Vikings are bad.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Bad.
That's
and I agree. Listen, I agree with that. They made Matt Jones
right and Mike White. They made them both look good.
Yeah, I mean they're hard. Listen, they're hard. They're horrible. But like I said, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But I'm just taking a shot early on the guy. I'm just gonna be in early. So if it works out, especially if he gets one of those games where he throws 3 touchdowns, I mean that means if you don't have him, then you're losing. All
right, give me the balls to the walls call from Willie Walls.
Oh, I would have told you, Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins is I love Quez Watkins this week, and I like coming back in that same game. Noah Brown.
So Minshew. Well, look at what Willie's doing here. Willie help people out. Minshew, Watkins, Brown, and then you fill it in with Derrick Henry and McCaffrey and all those expensive guys.
And Jefferson. I'm just telling you, you load up, and if you look at look at Brown's targets. Brown's been getting 9-10 targets a game. Give me that at 3,600. I'm telling you, I don't care because they're paying attention to Gallup, and they're paying attention to it. They're paying attention to the 2-stop receivers.
I gave you the pen clip. That is a very important thing. All right, Swami says what?
Swami says, my good buddy must be frostbitten. My goodness, Quez.
And listen, I can't wait. To that first, when he goes deep, you can say, "Oh my God, Quez Walker goes deep early." They're gonna be nosy, and I would say, "Boom!" Just like I said last week for New Orleans guys, I said, "Boo, boo, boo, boom!" And if they would have done anything in that game, he could have had 30 points.
See, what helps Willie out is the Willie math, Doc. The Willie math is great. The Willie math go, "Hey, I could be cheeks 12 times. I'm only gonna count the one." Right.
Well, most people remember the one.
Yeah, that's the Willie Mack. He remembers the one. So the Willie Mack is always in his favor. Got it. Anyway, Swami says this week, I think I'm going to go with Drake London. I think we lost the corner. Marcus Peters went down. For some reason, I don't like it, right? But you said this is one of those. We're not trying to be, on the beaten path. We're trying to go off. And last week, what he had, that quarterback was cheeks. Last time to play, he had 11 targets, 7 receptions for 70 yards. And that's why I think he's at least looking at him. He's getting the targets. I think they're going to need to throw the ball. They're not going to be able to run a whole lot against my Ravens. So
let me say this. Now, they're playing in the cold. Their dome team, they trying to back that bus out there early. They backing that bus out there early. The Ravens are going to run all on them. I'm telling you.
I'm giving you the visionary pick. We called it earlier. Richie James, baby. Like him. Think Jones goes to him. I think he's better than Slayton. I like Isaiah Hodgins a little bit too, by the way.
Yep.
But I like Richie James a smidge more. But you want to do a Daniel Jones double stack with those two cheap Giants, I'm okay with that too.
I like that, Doc. I like that a lot.
I might even do that. I think I'm probably going to do the Jones with the two cheap Giants and fill in expensive guys around it.
And come back with Jefferson.
Yes, come back with Jefferson.
No. I mean, listen, I'm just telling you, I just think that, guys, what we're trying to tell you this week is I'm paying up at the running back position, and normally we ain't like that. But I'm telling you, I'm taking those guaranteed 30 or 40 points. I'm taking a guaranteed 25 to 28 touches, and I'm going to town. And then if these little guys hit for us, that's how you take down tournaments. And that's what we're trying to do.
All right, we coming back next week for the new year to help everybody on the second to last week?
Yep.
There we have it. All right, time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. For Doc, Swame, and Willie Walls, we wish you all a Merry, Merry Christmas. And what do we say, guys? Be well and
take care. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.